Hello, welcome back. Let's get this show back on the road. Plus 20 to hit, plus 23 to damage. Can't complain about that. Let's make sure we're using the right weapon. Yes, we are. That's right, we have the double. So we don't have to go back to the surface now anymore, do we? We have our character completely good. We're just going up to 1250, as I recall. That's the plan. I don't know if we've cast the appropriate spells. Given I see no... No, we hadn't. Okay. Now we have. Let's actually rest again first, because our... Oops, I wasn't trying to rest for 8. I was trying to rest for asterisk. No, come on, man. Rest. Okay, I hit the caps lock. Rest for asterisk. Okay. Here we go. PCE. And we're off. So our strength is almost all the way to the top. That's our primary objective, to get our strength up. Our secondary would be to get dexterity up. Tertiary would be to get constitution up. Charisma and intelligence are just bonus, but we don't really care. Out of those two, I'd rather get intelligence up, because that could help with our staff use. Staff and wand. But, charisma, we really don't... And I have no objection to getting my charisma up. Obviously, I'll take it if I find a potion, but it really doesn't matter. All that it does, as far as I know, the only effect charisma will have is to let us sell items for slightly more and buy items for slightly cheaper. And we already have so much money that it wouldn't matter. Even if we find no more money the rest of the game, we're not going to spend the money we have, as far as I can tell. So there's no point in worrying about charisma too much. Dexterity is definitely raising our armor class and our to hit bonus, though. We gotta look at that. Drop U. I don't ever drop Wilson in case he gets eaten by something or something. Read N on U. So +5, +2 shield. What do we have? We have +4 we have 4 +4 resist cold. We're not going to take this one. Is this what we want? Nope. You know, let's try and get that P, the small letter P, because a person... Well, this could be a room, you know. It is. A person often carries the potions we want, so it's worth having a look. It may have in this case. There's a potion right there. Nope. Not what we wanted. Alright, let's search here. ZP. Southwest. Open, southwest. And we found a couple of wands in it. Teleport away. I don't really want either of those. Teleport away sounds awesome, like if we meet a terrible multi-hued ancient dragon or something we were terrified of it, we get teleported away. That does sound great, but at the same time we can just teleport ourselves away. We've already got 3 of those stabs, not to mention a spell. The net result is going to be the same, so I don't really see that there's a reason why we need to teleport away. I think we have polymorph to permanently deal with such threats. Adjusted my microphone. It may have been extra quiet there. I didn't realize it was pointed so far away from my face. I know I'm quiet at the best of times. I'm going to have to artificially bump up the volume when I edit this stuff. How am I doing this? And by edit, I just mean add in the logo for the channel, etc. It's about the only real editing I intend to do. Okay, we'll take that. Again, not Not our first priority in terms of raising stuff, but it sure doesn't hurt. Take it. I'd rather have strength or dexterity, but I'll take it. Let's wield V. Wield V. Like I said, as long as we keep the requisite number of weapons to what we have, I think it'll always be wield V. We don't have to worry about rebranding Wilson as, you know, a number or something. Although that did work back when we did it. It was an effective tip from whoever the hell left that on some message board. I think some message board long ago. It was like an ancient tip, but it was a good idea. Barrel ring, we gotta pick that up. Who knows what it is? It's probably sustained something. Read. Identify. V. Oh, it's a ring of speed, which would be great, but unfortunately it's damned. Let's drop V. But I wouldn't mind a ring of speed, because I think that could, so at least we'll know them if we encounter them again. We'll know a ring of speed if we see one, so that's great. I think that will stack with our shoes. I think you can have 2 permanent sources. I could be wrong, though. The game is kind of arbitrary in what it does with that. Sometimes it's like you can have 2 of these sources and 1 impermanent source, or sometimes it's like you can only have 1 permanent source and 1 impermanent source, or whatever. It's not consistent in that, and there's no way, unless you looked up, I guess, sort of spoilers, unless you looked it up online. I don't know if spoilers is the right term for that, but it's the best term I can think of. So unless you looked up the spoilers, I don't know how you'd be privy to that information. From what I understand of games, certain other roguelikes, NetHack being chief among them when I say this, and understand I'm not speaking from a place of personal knowledge, I'm speaking from everything I've read online about the game. NetHack seems like a game where you really have, from what I've been told, you have to have spoilers. If you don't specifically look up details that are not otherwise available to you, you will never beat the game. It's basically impossible is what I've heard laid out. I don't know if basically impossible means really, really fucking hard, or would take you a long time to figure stuff out, or if it means literally impossible. There's some really strange things in that game that, from what I've read, again, from what I've read, there's some strange things in that game that I don't know how the hell you would ever guess or know unless you looked it up. And your freedom to do certain things is greater than it is in many games, which is why a lot of people like that game. The example that's coming to my mind, and again, I understand this is not, do not take this as gospel example, because I've not played the game. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from what I've read over the years. But there's, for instance, you can come across a sink, a kitchen sink. And I think the reason it's in there is because of, you know, the classic joke of there's everything in there but the kitchen sink, and therefore people always talk about, too, the dev team thought of everything as a quote from that game, meaning the development team put in everything in the game, and they literally put in everything, including the kitchen sink. I.e., you can encounter a kitchen sink, which is also just kind of absurd, and I don't love that. I don't love that jokiness, but whatever, it's in there. One of the things you can do is kick the sink. I don't know why you'd ever think to kick a sink. I don't know why that would thematically be an option, but whatever. That's one bit of an example, but I think one of the things that can come out of a sink, if you kick it, sometimes you can find a ring in it, I guess, down the drain. I guess that makes kind of sense. Like somebody could have lost their wedding ring while washing their hands is the joking gist. Again, it's kind of strange, but whatever. But one of the things that can come out of there, whoops, is like a nymph. If you kick the sink, a nymph can come out, as I understand it. And the nymph can be a great threat, I think, and maybe I'm again wrong, maybe I'm mixing my memories. But if you take a dagger, maybe even only an iron dagger, I don't know, but if you take a dagger and carve the name Elbereth into the dirt, it'll keep the nymph at bay, or something like that. Again, forgive me if I'm totally fucking up the truth of this matter, but it's something akin to that for sure. Now, how the fuck would you ever know that? Now, maybe there is a place in the game. Maybe you find a book somewhere in the game if you've played enough, and the book says, hey, if you carve the word Albereth, this will happen. And if that's the case, then shut my mouth. That's fine, I guess. As long as they're providing that information to you in the game. What do I care? It's fine. But I don't know that that is true. I don't know if it's ever revealed to you in any fashion. That core truth. Jesus Christ. Do I need to get in here? All it is some fucking gold. Close. I don't care. You can have the damn gold. That's what I'm talking about when I say that game you absolutely require spoilers. If you didn't know that, as far as I know, there's no reason why you'd ever guess it. Again, unless it tells you somewhere in the game. This game I don't think requires spoilers on that level. But even things like... I mean, it seems to me... I guess it's not absolutely flawlessly impossible. You could win the game without increasing your stats, I guess, potentially. You could just find enough potions of invulnerability and head down with, baseline attributes and still kill the Balrog, potentially, I guess. If you had enough of those potions and he can't hurt you, I guess it would make sense. But it seems like a pretty clear pattern from everybody I've read online is you get those potions, you raise your stats, and then you head on further down, which would certainly make the game easier as a rule. Past any question. And I do want that O and that P. Maybe I'll go in there and fight them. Let's go deal with this first. And yes, you could, I mean, if you're just playing the game in general, not only could you probably would eventually reach depth 1250. Oh, fuck. Did I just unleash a horde of these fucking things? And in so doing, you would find the potions you need. So you can't complain about, oh, Jesus Christ. PCB, Southeast. Oh, Jesus. Dude, it hurts my wrists to do this. Don't, typing hurts my wrists. Don't negate what I've typed. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Alright, PBB, I'm out of here. I literally can't bear my wrists to type that shit. It's just too much. Those gnats are not worth my... Fucking fleas are not worth my time. Or physical... They're not worth the physical pain they literally cause. Yeah, you could find the potions you want just by playing the game naturally. And maybe you'd clue in... Oh, fuck off. You know what? Just fuck you. Fuck off. But... would you clue into the fact that they're getting less common as they get away from 1250? Do they in fact get less common? I'm not even sure I'm cluing into that now. We're still finding them. Maybe it's not even true. But I don't know. Those kinds of spoilers I think they're not necessarily necessary. But by the time you put in 60 or again, it's been at least 60 hours you put into this game. Fuck. I'm not comfortable with the notion of playing through without looking up some degree of how am I going to tackle this Balrog at the end? I don't want to get to the Balrog and find out, oh, there's some fucking trick to killing it. And you only get one life to live, and it's like, well, if you want to try again, you can meet it again if you put in another 100 hours and get down to it, and then maybe you'll figure it out that time. I don't know that there is specifically a trick to it, per se. It seems like it still just gets killed by, bump attacks and spells. But I imagine it's extremely vicious. I imagine it'd be very hard to survive it. So I want to be armed with what knowledge I can be as to... It's not a spoiler per se, again, because there's no plot. It's just, are there ways that can make it slightly easier to survive this battle? Because at this stage, I don't know that I'll ever play Moria again. Maybe I will after this. If I lose, maybe I will. If I win, I probably won't. I might someday as a different character. But the point is, even if I was going to, there's also Morgul. There's also like so many Moria variants, and there's all the Angband variants, and then there's a million other roguelikes. And as a actual literal human, not my character, but as the fact that I am a human being, I'm gonna die one day. That day seems ever closer, the way my body's fucking falling apart. So it's unlikely I'm going to get a chance to play all these different roguelikes as it is. I just can't afford to. It's not like 1985 where Moria was. I've said this in a previous episode, I know that, but it's worth repeating. When this game came out, Moria would have been either the only game in town, maybe that's literally the only game you had access to in terms of roguelike, or maybe even the only game you had access to, period, because computers are much more limited and how you distributed things was much more limited back then. No internet, etc. Or even if it wasn't the only thing you had access to, it would be one of few. Maybe there's this and Rogue, that might have been it. So back then, taking the time to experiment and figure it out as you go, and take 5 to 6 years of playing the game to figure it out, might have been worth it, maybe. But if I'm going to play this game and I'm going to I did do the experiment, right? I played through with a ton of different characters. We could look at. I'm not going to go right now and look at it because we can't look at it without saving the game. But I had at least 2 or 3 other paladins I played, and a whole bunch of mages I played. So I've got 40 or 50 hours in, maybe 30 hours in the form of other characters as it is, and now I'm putting in it'll be at least 100 hours by the time I'm done this. I don't think I'll be able to invest another 100 hours to trial and error how to get through this. There's a new vault. I've never seen this vault before. We've never seen this particular type of room before. That's kind of cool. Nice to see some variation. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to spare another 100 hours or whatever it is to experiment and trial and error how to get through things. Especially if by that you mean like making it down to the Balrog and then figuring out how to kill him. So, all this by way of saying I have no qualms about the fact that I am looking up things like, at this stage, basics of how to play that are not mentioned in the rulebook. Clarifications on how much damage things do. Clarifications on where I can find certain items, or at least where I'm more likely to find certain items. Again, not a spoiler, because it's not like you go to level 12 and you look under the rock in the northeast corner and there's always something, it's going to be random. But getting some general help is, I think, a good thing. If there's anybody watching this, which is profoundly unlikely. Obviously, completely untrue at the moment because I'm not broadcasting it, but if there's ever anybody watching this episode, then you've obviously come to the same mindset that it's worth your while to find out some tips and such on the game before diving in. Either that or you have no intention of playing and you're just like, I want to experience the game in some format. Oh, new potion. Alright, drop V. Alright, it's not going to be invulnerability. I don't know what it'll be this time. I mean, not identified. I'm not going to drink it. L. Potion of Constitution. Really, that's the first we found. How is that possible? Oh, restore Constitution. I see. I don't think I can afford to carry that, can I? I mean, I could drop the Wand of Polymorph. No, I can drop the Potion of Resist Heat. Okay, there we go. Drop I. Fair enough. Alright. Maybe this is a vault as well. It is. It was Restore, right? Potion of Restore Constitution. Well, I'll carry it for now, whatever. In case it gets drained. And I'll eat that right away. How are we doing for time? Another 10 minutes or so. We found 1 potion of intelligence so far, not terrible. And we are getting through level 1600, so we can get down to... That might well be the fruit flies and shit in there. I don't want to go over there if I can avoid it. May just have to get off this level soon, just because it'll be overrun by insects soon if we don't. Try to avoid that room for now. PCE. PAA, PAF, PAG. I can't carry any more staves of teleportation. I've already got 3. That's the most I can afford to carry. Well, let's head over and explore that central area. We're not going to explore up there because I'm sure that's where the damned... what did it say there? I'm sure that's where these damned fruit flies are. Or whatever the hell they're called. Fleas, whatever they are. My wrist is bugging the fuck out of me this morning. I think I overdid it yesterday, and therefore this may be my only playthrough today. I don't think I need to switch to Wilson to do that. There, I can just tunnel right through that. Looks like we need Wilson still to get through Granite, and that might be about it. Add him for moral support. He's our security shovel. For sure up here there were fucking fruit flies and shit. Maybe that area back there wasn't the area then. I forgot it had to do with the big checkerboard room. Well, let's go really quickly back to that area that we left behind. Explore it for a second. Get another 7.5 minutes left in this episode before we're going to call it done. Here's a staircase. You know what? Fuck it. Not worth the extra little bit of exploration. Let's just go to the next level. We're here. Let's deal with that dude fast. Alright. PAA, PAF, PAG, PCE. Head west. Don't need it. Because I can't hit them at this angle, I have to move to here. I can get them all now, though. PCB will do it. There we go. Sometimes that angling thing is annoying as fuck. I mean, it makes sense for the limitations of what they understood they could do in terms of programming at the time. I get that. I obviously didn't do many detections up here. Oh, maybe I did. There's nothing there. And be it adds an unrealistic, but nonetheless a tactical element to the game that otherwise wouldn't exist. So in terms of gameplay, it doesn't hurt to the game. In terms of making any degree of sense, it sure does. It may just not have occurred to Robert Konecki to allow you to move a cursor onto something to dig it, or to attack it, you know? I can't tunnel through that. Oh, it's not even there, for God's sakes. Not even in a wall. Having trouble reaching that mummy. It's forever just out of reach. Ah, there we go. There's a lich. Could be an awesome Emperor Lich again. We dealt with one of those once, so I'd love to deal with another one. Let's see what it is. It's just a Lich. What do we know about it? Killed 3 of them. They're from 1700, so for level 34. My protection will not protect me from it. Can touch to reduce dexterity and absorb charges. Let's back the hell off from it. PCB West. PCB West. I could probably just kill it with my sword, but I don't even want to get close to it. Whoa. It's dead. Got some copper, got some silver, got some experience. But again, given we need, at this point, 50,000, I guess it's not that bad. That's almost, you know, if we killed like 75 of those, we'd get up a level. And we will, damn it. We will get to be a much higher level than that. We'll get monsters that give a lot more experience than that eventually. Once we're done with collecting these potions and we can move down deeper, it'll become much more routine to meet monsters that are tougher than that. Let's rest here because our spell points have gotten kind of low. Mana, whatever you call it. My wrist is also tired because I did a bit of coding this morning. I woke up for some reason with the idea of adding a gold pan to Caverns 2, a mundane item you can find that allows you to pan for gold in rivers and streams. Didn't take that long. It took like 30 minutes or so to add the code in for it, but that's like 30 minutes of typing and mouse use, and that's just enough to be like, my hand is like, screw you, you're done. So hopefully we'll get to the bottom of what's going on with my goddamn wrists and forearms eventually, so I can get back to coding on a more regular and lengthy basis, I guess. Playing this game each day doesn't help, of course. It's absorbing, so breathed acid didn't even hurt me somehow, as far as I know. I didn't really notice if my armor class went down or anything. I don't think so. Yeah, the fact that I play this every day is part of what makes my wrists problematic in the first place. Is I'm using up some of my limited ability or daily allotment of wrist use on this game. So it makes coding more difficult. If I wasn't doing this, I'd have a little more strength to get done more coding more frequently. But now that I'm this far in, I want to finish this fucking game before I take any major time off. We've got about a minute left. Let's see if we can get over to that vault area. Maybe not. PAG, I'm sure, did not reveal anything. Nope. Probably not going to happen this episode. I have no idea how to get over there. There are PAGs in case, but nope, nothing there. This whole section is a dead end. Second time I mentioned somebody breathing something and I didn't get like the asterisks outlining where the breath weapon landed like I usually do. You know, that black dragon breathed and it didn't reveal that, and this red dragon did. It didn't reveal that. Alright, we are going to explore this little vault area. I'm sure it's a vault with this number of traps. Hell, I might even be able to PAE right here. Yep. And then we're going to call it a game. Or a session, as it were. Got the black orc. Alright, maybe that's a potion that we want. Nope, flask of well, I guess it is a potion that we want, but or something that we want. Not anything major. Okay, I'm gonna call it right here, guys. My wrist is killing me. Y'all have a good day. I doubt I'll be back today, but I may. We'll see. Maybe after a few hours of rest, I'll be able to go another half hour. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.